like one thing where I really messed it up for you and you were freaking out or I don't know.
She's always ruining man opportunities for me.
Man opportunities. Secretly, we love each other. That's funny. But I think my favorite Fairly Odd Parents episode ever was when Timmy wished it was Christmas every day. I wish every day could be Christmas. That one, that was funny. Well, it's not gonna be Christmas, you little squirmy jerk. I do love Tootie, too. Timmy, I love you so much.
We should talk about like how we met and like how we started working together and how you teach me everything.
Do it!
Do it!
Well, the weird thing is Gray was late for her first session.
And every session after that.
Ever since. And she always walks into the coffee being like, hi!
I call it latte, like a vanilla latte. I have to stop for one. Yeah, well, because if anybody was at my panel last night, I was saying that I got in a car accident on my way to Regress. And I was like late and freaked out, and she was really nice to me, and she was like, you know, she was an old pro by then, because she'd been doing it since she was little, so she was like, come sit here, sweetheart.
It wasn't 80. She was so sweet to me because I was really freaked out. So, we were the McNulty brothers.
Yeah.
Should I see the Olympics?
But don't, stupid baby. I don't know how they're gonna find a dead lizard. Now it's just kind of like a little boy like this, one of the McNulty brothers, and I played reptile the one time that he died.
Then we did what else?
What else happened, Sarah?
Louis Sargent Fairly Odd. Yeah, and Wesley and Dan Phantom. And Scooby.
Lots of coffee and lots of lunches. Yeah.
It's pretty scary to hear reptar come out of you. I'll just had to close my eyes and not look. All right, fine.
Like a Foz ventress.
No, stop it. Hands, save me. Somebody with a hand, for love of God.
Somebody behind you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I can't. I don't know.
We have 3 on the win.
Hi. Together, the two of you are my entire childhood, so I just wanted to say thank you. And Greg, Frankie Foster is the best thing ever.
Aww, it's the closest thing to my real voice. Blue! Oh my gosh, you're driving me crazy, Blue. Get over here.
Thank you both so much. I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you.
I told them the story about how, I don't even know if you remember this, but when I got the part for Foster's and you got your part, we're all excited. And then I was on vacation in Hawaii and you called me and said, actually, you know what? They're going to go to celebrities. They're going to do a celebrity round of auditions. So, and I was like, what? Oh my God, that's horrible. And then she forgot to tell me she was joking. And so, she left a message and then I was trying to call her back and I couldn't get you for like 6 hours. I was like freaking out for 6 hours. I was like, oh my God, just kidding about that.
You sir the ears. You had your hand out behind you now. I'm over here. Hi.
Oh, there you are.
Don't touch the mic. Have you ever been in my panel? Just lean in. Lean in. Bring this moment. Here, all these people coming in.
For Tara Strong, I'm sorry if this is unrelated. Well, I know it's unrelated, but can you please say it's hero time?
It's hero time as Raven or as...
Ben.
Oh, it's Ben, I'm sorry. I'm right in the middle of doing Titans and I can't tell you, sorry, but why. It's hero time. Quit up, don't be such a dweeb.
Oh, there we go. Very good. Yes, you're learning. Yes, and question happens. This is all good. Oh my gosh, you're grabbing again. So grabby. Sunday morning grabbies.
Hey, Tara, what was your most favorite, what was your favorite character that you'd like to voice for the most?
That I've ever done? My very #1 favorite was doing the sequel to The Little Mermaid and singing with Jodie Benson, because I just don't know what little girl didn't want to be The Little Mermaid, so that was the closest thing. And like when I first met her, I burst into tears. She was like, "Are you okay?" And it was so surreal to sing with her. And then after that, that's always always my first favorite because that was like my dream job, and then I couldn't possibly pick a second favorite. I love doing Twilight, I love doing Harley and Batgirl and Timmy and Powerpuff Girls. I've just been so lucky with all the characters, so I couldn't possibly pick a second favorite.
Right? Yeah, my favorite.
Well, Azula's my favorite because she's so evil and so cool, and I'm not very cool in real life. I'm a goofball. Oh, I'm a total goofball, which is cool. That's cool. But I am doing this new fairy for the Tinkerbell movies. You know, I'm doing this direct-to-DVD, and she's called Bliss, and I started just doing scratch. Like a lot of times we'll get hired to do scratch for those, and which is fine, and then they choose a celebrity, which is fine. I still made my money while I did my scratch. But I added in a lot of my personality while I was doing scratch. I was just like adding in funny lines here and there, and so they said, you know, great, we brought in some celebrities, but then we felt bad because they were kind of reading like your lines after stuff that you had actually come up with, and it was so your personality that you know, we kind of felt bad, and we just were giving you the part. So I was like, wow. So it hasn't come out yet, but it's called Winter Woods, and it'll be out like in a couple months, and it's actually maybe at the end of this month I think it's coming out. Anyway, so Azula's my absolute favorite ever because it was just such a great acting challenge, but this part of Bliss is like one of my favorites, my second favorite, because I just feel like I put a lot into it. So yeah.
But you are all vanished later.
Hi. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Hi.
Do any of you have like arguments with any of the characters in your head over some sort of dilemma or decision making?
In real life or on shows?
In real life.
I argue with myself in the car, like with an imaginary person, just like someone who I'm mad at in life, and I'll just catch somebody like kind of at a stoplight watching me go.
Tell them a story about when you were being filmed and you didn't know for an audition.
Oh, the job. I was doing this video game, and this studio had this, like the booth was in one room, and then the control booth was in one room, and then you go down this like long hallway, all these turns to where you would stand to record with the microphone. And I was working on this video game, and the guy was just like over-explaining, like, I've got it all, like, I read it beforehand, I know what I'm doing, and every line he was like, okay, so she started out on this long journey, and then she went over this mountain, and this warrior, I mean, just like a 15-minute thing, and then my line's like, stop, or something, and then I was like, okay, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I mean, every time you start talking, I was like, yes, I was like going on, and so then at the end they're like, hey, do you want to meet the director and everything and come back and say goodbye to everybody? I was like, yeah, absolutely, and I like pack up my stuff and I go in there, and there's a video camera has been set up in the room that I was in, and there's like a monitor with like my empty microphone, like just so cute, and I'm like, oh my god, they're watching me the whole time, like this tiny little thing, but apparently he must have known that I was just kidding or something every time we were talking, because he never was rude, he was really, really nice. He probably thought, oh, that's crazy, man. But, so, I'm usually caught. I'm the one that gets caught. When everyone's talking about somebody, I'm the one still going, and then like, they're behind me, right?
I'm going to lean over you, sir. It's easier to put it in space for me.
Now, Terry, your episode of the Batman on Batman, Kevin Smith's podcast, great podcast, great episode. You mentioned that they're doing a new season of Fairly Odd Parents. Are y'all able to go into more detail on are y'all working on that right now?
Yeah, the reason we had to come in on the red eye is we do them on Fridays, and we just did together an episode this Friday, and the only spoiler I can tell you is that I get a magical dog named Sparky, and he's so hilarious. He's on, I don't know what character.
On Tough Puppy, he played Snaptrap, or maybe a Snaptrap, and he was an animator. He's so damn talented. He was an animator, and Disney was using him for all their scratch, and he's just brilliant. And, but he was doing it for free just because he was like there, and they're like, hey Matt, you're amazing. Come in here and do your thing. So yeah, it's so great.
And he adds so much comedy. It's like, whenever they talk about reviving or a pickup, they say, we need something big. Like with Rugrats, they had Dill, or with Fairly Odd Parents, it was Poof, and then this season, it's Sparky, and he's so funny. He really adds
Got like a Rick Moranis kind of voice.
So cute. podcast. Kevin Smith's memory is scary. Like, I'm like, how do you retain all that information? So yeah, that's fun.
This is for Gray. I wanted to know if you could say the line that she uses as a pickup line about being really sharp.
Wait, who?
Azula.
Oh,
The pickup
gosh.
line that she uses.
If you tell me what it is, I will say it. It's been
Busted, dude.
been like a few years.
I know the line, I just don't know it word for word.
I remember her saying, like, every time I like a boy, they think I'm going to do something terrible to them. Or something like that.
Which I totally relate to.
Don't make me angry. If you remember it, I will totally do it.
For both of you, in Fairly Odd Parents, which are like your favorite fairies, like out of them all, like what Cosmo one, Dorgan, One Piece, and all of them?
I'm the Tooth Fairy because she's very, very.
I would have to say Cosmo makes me laugh every time Darren Norris opens up his mouth. And sometimes when we get the scripts in advance, I read it and I hear it in his voice, and I just have to laugh because he's so stupid. He's my favorite. I mean, literally everything he does makes me laugh. And he's one of those performers that's doing Cosmo and Dad and Jorgen back to back, and you're like, I don't know how that's not given out, because they're all screaming and high-pitched and low-pitched and crazy, and he's so talented, so he's
On Top Puppy, he does like all the villains and the chief, and I mean he's amazing. Yeah, amazing. I feel like a dork now because you said like, what's your favorite fairy? I thought you meant like what favorite fairy that we voice, and I was like, well, what do we voice? I was like, the Tooth Fairy. You know, now I feel like I said that my favorite fairy is like me. Like, well, I like Cosmo. Yeah, like other fairies.
Way to be selfish, Gray. Way to be selfish.
My favorite things are about me.
No wonder you're not on Twitter. Hey, right here. I got you. Don't worry. You can hit me later if I skip you. I'm sorry.
What advice would you give to someone that wanted to be a voice actor?
Well, I always tell people to start with acting lessons and singing lessons and improv classes because, you know, people say, oh, I want to do that. You know, it's just reading, right? And it's not. You're creating these characters and bringing them to life. And any acting training that you have when you're learning beats or how to improv, like Grace said, she got this role because she was, you know, injecting some of her own funny stuff. And you have to be really confident when you get to that level. And then after you've done that, if you've got a local class where you can get behind a microphone and get some studio time, that's really great. And Gray and I are both in a DVD that I made a few years ago, actually 10 years ago. That's called Voice Stars with a Z.com, and you can pop it into your computer.
How did we make it before we were born? What? How did we make it before we were born?
Oh. And then my best advice too is don't get out there and put out a CD until you're really ready.
Like, then they had to put my tape in. Oh yeah, I'm old.
Well, I haven't made a demo since it was tape. Because you want to be really ready, because if you get that shot in the studio and you're too nervous or you're not ready, you might not get another chance. So you want to be, also, to make it a good demo is about $1,000. So you want to make sure that you're really ready for that.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, plays, because I feel like theater is like, that's where I got my training, and I know Tara too, like, it's because it's a place where you can be anything. You can be a little baby, you can be a dragon, you can be an old woman, you can, you know, you don't have any limits, and it's all just, you know, just nobody's judging you yet, you're not in front of casting people, you're just kind of getting your chops done, and it really is acting, it's not doing a voice, because I work with people that are doing a voice, and it just does, it's very one-dimensional, people can't really embrace it, they can't relate to it, because it's just, you know, an impression. And some of the guys that have done Scooby, they're not actors. They would just like do a voice match for Scooby, and you know they would do maybe a little bit of work, and then pretty soon it was just like just a voice. It's not Anyway, also don't take a class from a casting director until you're super good. Because some people I've taken classes. Like once I got all my training, I learned from another actor, Mary Kay Bergman. She was like my mentor, and then once I felt like she couldn't cast anything, but she could give me like lots of great advice. And then once I felt like I was ready and I wanted to meet people, sucks that you kind of have to pay to, you know, get in front of somebody, but I did like a casting director workshop and met like 6 casting directors, and after that it was just great, because, you know, if you're, they think that you're brand new and you're just really good, and it's like, no, I've been working at this for a long time to pretend like I'm really good right out of the gate. So, yeah, but don't make your mistakes in front of casting directors, because then they're like, oh, you're that new person that's like really green and needs a lot of work, and this can't get that out of their head, you know, so, yeah. And keep going, no matter how many people tell you, if you think you're really good, don't let people talk you out of it by saying, it's a small world, there's no new people. There's this girl, Breezy, I don't know if anybody on the internet knows who she is, Breezy. Anyway, I don't know where she is. Where is she? She does like our voices, and she does this, I think she's like 17, and she just makes these YouTube videos of her doing voices, and I'm actually going to talk to my agent about, I posted her video on my Twitter feed, and I'm going to talk to my agent about her, because she's really, really good, and she just keeps trying, and I'm really proud of her for doing that, because honestly, 100 people a year will go, Gray, I really want to get into voiceovers, what should I do? And I'm like, here's what you need to do. You need to, you know, take classes, and you need to do this, and you should make it, you know, you need to make a demo. And I swear, like, maybe one person out of all the people puts the work in. They just kind of want, you know, it's hard. And but if you really want it, there's room for talent, so.
If it's been a while since you voiced a character, do you ever forget that character's voice?
Yes.
Yeah, if it's been a while, especially video games, who asked me, I don't know if you're here, but in line, they said, can you do for Sam? I forgot, like, video games, sometimes you forget because it's so much dialogue, and then you move on to whatever series work you're doing. Typically, if you've been doing a show for a long time, that kind of sticks in your head, but I don't know, to revisit.
I did Watch the Block on Friday, and I was like, what is that again? I mean, it's been a long time since I've done her. So I was kind of going there with like more of an Irish accent, and he's like, no, and I'm like, oh yeah, more of a Fargo kind of thing, right? He's like, yeah.
The good news is they'll always play you what they call a voice reference, and they'll play it back for you so they can remind you.
I had to play Ice Queen before I left, because I was like, what if somebody asked me to do the Ice Queen? I can't remember what it was, and I went and bought it on iTunes and watched the episode. I'm like, okay, I can't remember that. Anyway.
Back here with the captain. What was it like working with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill in Arkham City?
Well, we didn't work together in Arkham City, but I worked with them on the Batman series, which was incredibly surreal to sit between the two of them, and I think Kevin Conroy is the best Batman there ever was, and Hamill's the best Joker there ever was, so there, yeah. When it comes to superhero stuff, I'm a big fan of the darker stuff, and they're just both so believable in those roles, and so to be in that studio and watch them work was a huge honor. I think they're amazing.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's incredible, and just to think like just how iconic he is and how down to earth he is at the same time.
But also how good he is at voiceover.
And he's a theater guy too, Broadway.
Yeah, and a lot of times a celebrity will come in and they don't have the chops for voiceover, but he really does.
Because he's larger than life anyway. Like the way he speaks is just like he's very theatrical. I mean, he's a theatrical person. So yeah, but during Arkham City when I did Catwoman, we just worked by ourselves. I didn't even see Tara, and she's my good friend.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. Yes, you, sir.
You were both in I Know That Voice. Have you seen it? Do you know anything about it?
I've only seen her clip. I haven't seen my clip. I talk way too much, like my family. I just told like every embarrassing, crazy story that I would probably never want anyone to know. And then I called them after, like, yeah, can I cut out some of the stuff that I said? And I complained about people, and I mean, what? So yeah, anyway, they're really nice guys, so hopefully they'll make my career alive.
Yeah, I haven't seen any edits. I just saw the clips. You may be on YouTube by now. They've released some more clips.
Okay.
Yeah, the one where you're backing everybody might be up there.
I was talking about like just bad directors, which is not good because like they still want them to hire me though. Think about them. So I make a lot of bad choices. She's always trying to help me and save me, and I don't listen.
When you did Fairly Odd Parents, were you very sad about Timmy's life when you were acting?
I don't know that Timmy so much gets sad because he has these fairy godparents helping him out, and Certainly when you watch certain episodes where his parents don't know his name, or Mickey's, going to kill him, then it's sad. But within the animation, I've been sad in roles. I've been sad as Harley or as Kylie or whatever it was. I've been sad, but not so much with Timmy because he's got these amazing fairy godparents to get him through stuff.
I feel like they're his real parents,
Yeah.
If I can ask Tara for a favor, if you can sing as Bubbles, Love Goes Around.
The whole song.
Open your eyes and look at what the world has to see. Look at all the colors, red, yellow, blue, and green. Everyone has a special song deep inside your heart. If you want, you can sing with me. It's the perfect place to start. Because love, 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 la la la, la la la. Make the world go round.
You're the follow-up to that.
Gray, I think you did a very good job at doing Asajj Ventress in Star Wars. So, what's it like doing that character for you?
Gindi just he said he wanted it like really androgynous, so they picked me. But he just said I don't want anybody to know whether it's a woman or a man, just like something really neutral and like really evil. So I just did something like this. But yeah, no, I didn't realize how big that series was going to become. You go in like once or twice, and then the same thing with Arkham City. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to be cast because they were going to use some other woman, and then it wasn't working out. So Colette just called me last minute. Can you just come down here for like 40 minutes? And I was like, sure. I didn't even know what it was. Get there, I'm like, oh, this art is really cool. I did it, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God, Arkham City is trending on Twitter, and somehow you're involved. I don't know what your name is coming up. So yeah, but no, yeah, Gindi has Gindi Tartakovsky. I just call him Gindi because I can't pronounce him very well. But he just has such a clear vision of what he wants. He will explain. I mean, when we did Samurai Jack, he just always had like just such a clear vision of what he wanted, and he would give you a good explanation ahead of time.
Gray, I just want to say you terrified me as Asajj Ventress, I just have to say. And for both of you, you were talking about singing. How do you keep a particular character's voice while you sing? And like hit the notes but still keep the character?
Well, if I've got to sing in a session, I'll always do vocal warm-ups that I learned from my singing lessons, which is another reason why I recommend that. And most of us do sing, and you need a good ear to be able to mimic voices. And then once you...
Except for Frank Welker does not sing a note. He's the only voice actor I know that does not sing a note. Oh, crazy. Anyway.
But, once you create a character and they sort of exist in your world, and then singing as that character is pretty much the same as talking as that character. So Timmy Turner is not going to be a beautiful singer. But sometimes that gets challenging if you have to do something like a Timmy Turner and then like a Disney princess the next day and you're tired. That stuff can be challenging, which is why I say it's always good to know some good vocal warm-ups and drink tea and... I don't do any of the things you're supposed to do. I like drink milk and eat cookies and don't. I sound like it. I have a trouble like not sounding. It's hard because you want to sound good, and so sometimes I'm like, I'm sounding pretty, and they're like, it doesn't sound like the character anymore. And I'm like, I don't want it to sound good. So it's hard sometimes to put your ego aside and go, okay, I'm gonna just be this person, and then Vicky's gonna sing like this. That's pretty, I thought.
Frank Welker.
Frank Welker, tone deaf. Like, anytime we ever have to sing, he's just like, hi. And I'm like, oh, you're just silly. Yeah, I bet you can. And then he started out like, oh. Honestly, everybody else has like a huge musical background. Tom Kenny at SpongeBob has the most beautiful voice you've ever. It's just gorgeous. I've gone to see him like play in a band and sing real. He loves 50s rock and stuff, and he just like is unbelievable. And I mean, you saw it. I mean, Billy West, like all those guys are just. Rob Paulson. I mean, he could be on Broadway. Yeah, everyone. Except for Frank.
Hi, I just want to... Thank you. I was just gonna ask two questions actually. One to Tara. How did you feel about doing Clara and Drawn Together? It must be hard singing some of those lines because they're pretty controversial. Then for Gray, I know you said yesterday you mentioned Tito Fuentes, and I just wanted to know if you do you know Spanish, and do you ever do any voiceover in Spanish? And that's it.
I played Flicker on Handy Manny, and he, Yabra Flicker, he didn't speak any English until like the third season. So, but it was just like baby words. I mean, it wasn't too difficult. Apparently my grandmother said I spoke Spanish until I was like 3, and then she was like, "Ay, mijita, you were so buena. I didn't want to teach you any more Spanish." I was like, "Thank you very much for ruining my life." I'm working a lot more. And Tito Puente, my grandma sang with the Latin band leader Tito Puente. She was a big band singer, and so yeah, I know all the boleros. I know like Sabor a mí, Bésame mucho, y usted, and I put Mexican songs on. I put out 5 albums, so I try to do at least one song in Spanish on every record. So yeah.
Cool. And I loved doing Drawn Together. It was insanely fun. And when I first recorded Black Chick's Tongue, I was playing it for my mom over the phone and she started to cry. I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "It's so beautiful." I'm like, "Are you listening to the words?" I thought she was crying because it was so gross. No, that's what I thought. But it was, I mean, because I do so many shows for children, it's really fun to get in the booth and say naughty words and make out with Cree Summer. We're trying to get to come to one of these. We were just texting her last night and she said she wants to. So her thing is, one time she put her purse on her arm and she was getting ready to go, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we just need you for one more line." So